In the finale, Buffalo gets gunned down on his way to the ball, the headlines explode across Rio, and everyone's losing it. Buffalo's wife, Susanna, is grief-stricken. What nobody knows yet is that the hit came straight from Propheta's orders. He's finally stepping into the big leagues. Propheta and his wife Myrna, who also happens to be Susanna's sister, show up to the ball acting totally normal, like they didn't just put a bullet in the city's most feared man. Propheta warns Myrna that Susanna's not mourning, she's plotting, and that as long as Susanna's alive, she'll be a threat, comparing her to a cobra that's just waiting to strike. Myrna makes him promise not to go after her sister, but the look on his face says he's lying. From that point, Propheta is on a mission. Eliminate Susanna, clean up his tracks, and solidify his power. He gets scared the next day when he receives a blackmail text. Someone claims to have proof that he killed the truck driver, demanding $500,000 to keep quiet. Then a video drops. It's the same kid Emerson had been questioning earlier, talking about the night of the murder. Propheta freaks out, realizing someone's coming for him. He sends his men to find the boy, but they report the family's vanished. That's when he starts connecting the dots. Maybe Susanna's behind this, maybe it's revenge. When Propheta learns Emerson's the one behind the extortion, he loses it. His guys track Emerson down, tie him up, and Propheta demands to know who else saw the video. Emerson swears he's the only one, but once Propheta hears he had plans to meet Susanna later, that's it. He realizes even paying up wouldn't save him. After a tense standoff, Nelinho executes Emerson. But then Leila calls. Xavier's dead and she's panicking. She tells Propheta that Xavier learned about them and might have left evidence behind. Propheta sneaks into Xavier's hotel room, finds the letter, and reads it. The truth hits like a truck. He is Leila's son. The same woman who's been scheming in the shadows is his own mother. He calls her back, pretending he found nothing, and calmly says, "I'm at your service, Leila Fernandez." It's cold, calculated, and terrifying. By the finale's end, Propheta and Myrna visit Susanna's trashed house. Myrna's shaken, but Propheta calls family a prison and says they're finally free. They seal it with a kiss, promising to rule Rio together and destroy anyone who stands in their way. Susanna's world collapses after Buffalo's death, but beneath the grief you can see the rage brewing. Later, she almost texts Myrna, accusing her of betrayal, but stops herself. Then sends a calmer message demanding answers. Myrna doesn't respond, telling Propheta that her sister's desperate. Things blow up when Susanna and Myrna finally face off at the Samba event. They start throwing everything at each other: blame, grief, their father's legacy, jealousy, all of it. Susanna calls Myrna a cobra. Myrna fires back that Susanna's just bitter she lost her power. Susanna storms out, promising her sister's downfall. Later, Susanna teams up with Emerson, who claims he's got proof of who killed her husband, but for a price. She knows he's a snake, but needs the info, so she agrees to pay. What she doesn't realize is that Propheta's already on his way to silence him for good. Propheta and Nelinho next kidnap Susanna. Propheta, gun aimed, accuses her of using his brother's boyfriend to attack his family, breaking their deal by sending Buffalo to kill him, and attempting blackmail, yet he is still alive. He then shoves money at her to buy a ticket to hell, warns never to return to Rio or see Myrna, and says he wants to put a bullet in her brain but spares her only for her sister's sake. While Propheta's handling his empire, Gallagher's juggling his own problems. With Buffalo gone, the gambling bosses debate who's next in line. Marcinho doesn't trust Propheta and wants to keep him on a leash, but Gallagher says they can't cut him out, not when he controls half of Rio. Coelho suggests waiting until after Carnival, but everyone knows the city's one bad move away from war. Leila, meanwhile, keeps stirring the pot. Xavier spots her talking to a guy named Nelio, someone she's clearly pretending not to know. He immediately gets suspicious, later cornering her about the son she abandoned decades ago. She assumes he means Santiago, but Xavier drops the bomb. It's Propheta. He's the baby she left behind. Leila's horrified and begs him to keep quiet, but Xavier's done protecting her. He says he should have killed her and the baby years ago and storms off. The next day, during the carnival vote, Xavier drinks himself into a heart attack. Before dying, he writes a letter to Gallego confessing everything, how he hid from him that Leila had a son with Jose when they ran away together, that he killed the traitor just like he wanted, but he just couldn't bring himself to kill the baby. He adds that Leila and Jose's son is the same man who is trying to secure a place on the board. He is Jefferson Moraes or Propheta. Leila calls Propheta in a panic, telling him to find the letter before anyone else. He does, and that's how he learns the truth. The irony, Gallego and the others have no idea the man they just welcomed into their ranks is actually Leila's son. In the middle of all this chaos, the Samba world's still spinning. Gallego and Santiago deal with family drama as Xavier hints that Santiago might inherit leadership of their Samba school. Gallego brushes it off until Xavier's sudden death turns it into reality. During the carnival vote count, Gallego's school won big. After Xavier's death, Gallego renames the Samba school after his brother, giving a heartfelt tribute. He then announces that his son Santiago will be taken over as leader, honoring Xavier's final wish. Marcinho admits it feels like sunshine after a storm. His nephew Renzo, freshly back from prison, hints that he plans to bring fresh energy to their empire. Then Propheta walks in, calm, confident, like a man who just erased every loose end. Gallego greets him warmly, saying he was the only one missing. They hug in front of everyone, sealing the illusion of peace. And that's how the season closes, with Propheta keeping the biggest secret of all, standing in a room full of enemies who don't even realize the real war's just getting started.